vanish out of sight, leaving Fjord and Frumpkin behind. You look down upon the base of this interior chamber. The same recess that you had met before at Urukazel, beneath the temple of the Yanti. You can see, now that you're kind of surveying it by yourself, standing over it, the hints of the same spiral grooves that all emerge from it in a similar pattern as the one you previously saw, carving up the walls and meeting the upper area, with the faint bits of runes occasionally visible along. The same form of prison enchantment placed on this chamber as the one you've already seen.
I will kneel down in front of the recession, and I will look at the eye that's in the pommel of the falchion. Let's see what this does. And I'll place it in the recession.
Okay. As you place the sword pommel down into the center of that recess, the eye glows, your vision goes dark, and dark to black. Flash of bright yellow light. Your eyes kind of wince, though you force them open. Looking ahead of you, you can see a bright yellow eye, the size of your body, staring towards you, emitting this painful glow, the singular dark slit from top to bottom, focusing and twitching in your direction before it finds you. Watching. You hear a deafening crack, and though your eyes are still adjusting to the light before you and focusing intently on this eye, on the peripheral around it, you can just barely make out what looks to be shifting shadows, like tendrils or movement. Something serpentine beginning to shift. It seems to be resisting some sort of binds, making gains on them. Adept. A loosened tendril curls behind you. You don't change your focus. Looking into the eye, you feel like an icy blanket, this scaly-like tail, almost as large as your body, begin to wrap around you. The touch is freezing, ice cold, and you feel your back arch. It begins to envelop and squeeze you. Reward. The cold sensation overwhelms your senses. Your entire body goes numb and your vision begins to blur once more. The light of the eye begins to fade as the cold sensation and the grasp of this tendril becomes the entirety of your awareness. You hear a distant sound of muffled cracking again. As the blackness claims your vision, you see a distant shape, like a broken shore at midnight before you. Waves curl against this shore. It's a long, protracted beach. Just the faint bits of starlight in night, giving you just the basic outline of it. Along that beach, you see 3 points of light. Different from what your previous vision were. They're not bright, singular points, but 3 focused gathering of dull lights. You glance over, there's cities. Cities at night, 3 of them along the shore. Beyond that, a faint bit of yellow grabs your attention. Beyond these 3 coastal cities, you see a forest. Jungle. You can't make out the details from this strange kind of elevated vantage point. You feel like you're flying above the sky. The light goes brighter, and it's the same tint as the eye that summoned you here, as the spheres that you've claimed through your journey. Above that forest, you can see looming the peak of a mountain range. And as that light goes brighter and brighter in the heart of this jungle, you just hear once more, release. The light gets brighter until it begins to hurt your eyes. You're trying to focus on it, trying to will yourself towards it, and it gets too much and you force your eyes shut. The minute you open them, you're back in the chamber. Your body is pins and needles as the numbness begins to fade. You glance down. The yellow sphere that was the base of your sword, the eye. It's just the dull, lifeless metal that was there when you first found the falchion. You watch as all the runes suddenly begin to glow with that same yellow, faint light. The spirals all around you. The stone shifts again and cracks, and you see bits of stone and leftover sediment begin to just release within the inside of the chamber.
Time to go. I'll head towards the tunnel.
Okay, the rest of you up top, all of a sudden you feel this seismic activity around the base of this.
He did it.
Why don't we all get outside and
He's on his way.
be
He's
here right
already
now?
stopped moving.
A second one. At this point, you can see now, previously, these very, very difficult to find runes that were filled in with bits of dust and sand and muck that had gathered begin to kind of burst up and reveal the same yellow runes that you had seen previously in the temple light up the chamber around where the Hydra battle took place.
I look at the runes in the armor that I'm holding.
No apparent connection from what you can tell. However, as the second impact hits the tower.
We need to get down.
Are we in there?
Yeah, you guys are in.
We're heading out.
Out of the thing.
Okay, you guys all begin to leave. What order? Who's going first?
I'm swimming quickly ahead of everyone because I'm expeditious retreat.
All right.
I'll wait.
Okay, you're next.
I'll push not in front of me.
I don't need pushing.
Doesn't matter, you're being pushed through.
Okay.
Jester and Bo, I need you both to make dexterity saving throws, and you as well, Fjord, as you make it just going through the top.
What's your plus dex? So,
It's a natural
oh no,
one,
natural
so
one.
it doesn't matter.
What are you rolling for?
21.
What are we rolling for?
Dex.
Oh,
No,
no, you're not.
Just the three of us. Yeah.
All right.
falling.
15 points of bludgeoning damage as bits of the stone kind of knock you around. You take half of that, so you only take a 7. And what'd you roll for it?
I rolled a 7.
You rolled a 7, so you take the 15 points as well. As you manage to move through the space, and just as Fjord you emerge, and the rest of you kind of begin to make your way outside of the temple, you hear this low rumble. And you watch as some of the rubble that was tumbling inside suddenly begin to push upward.
Whoa.
The current of water around you begins to change in an odd way, like there's a sudden suction you weren't expecting. And all of you begin to be drawn towards the temple once more. Like all the seaweed begins to tear loose and be thrust upward. There is a geyser bursting from the chamber below where you once were, and it's causing this vacuum that's pulling you up with it. All of you make strength saving throws, please. Try and grab something in the vicinity.
Oh gosh. I don't know. Can I cast control water?
You can, if you like to.
Is everybody around us?
I think we're pretty tight knit.
A lot of you may be. Yeah.
I've shot ahead a little bit because I'm still. If it's under 10 minutes since I cast, I don't.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
but
know
we were
how
just
much
going
time
through
is
the
left.
door, so we were like getting sucked back towards the.
Yeah, you guys are being pulled back towards the temple.
I'm gonna cast control water and try to change the direction of the water around all of us so that we can push away from the geyser and
Okay.
get farther away from it.
I'll allow that. So as you all, don't have to make saving throws, as you all begin to be pulled into it, this vacuum as the geyser is tearing up, you watch as the temple that was collapsing is now being pulled up, and bits of the stone are being thrust up into the sky above it, into the top of the ocean. All of you feel the immense drag, and then it laxes again, and you turn around and see Jester sitting there, arms out, forcing the will of the ocean around to just hold tight and still around you.
Swim away!
Are we all going up? Let's go up, and I'm casting Water Walk on everybody.
Okay. All of you,
Including you, we're all.
all of you begin to rise up at a rocketing speed towards the surface of the ocean. As the water passes by, you manage to all emerge from the top. The speed you're at, now that you know it's coming, you manage to kind of do your best to slow your descent and land carefully. I won't make you roll for any damage. And as you all land, you hear this sound as you glance over in the direction off the side of where that temple top would have been. There is a geyser shooting 100 feet in the air.